Hey, what's up guys? So here we are back again for more of the Python BACnet Stacks Playground. Um, okay, so just to kind of recap from the last video, we talked a little bit about, it was a good introduction on what the Codex CLI is, kind of referenced that past video, and like we used it to make an Agentic AI process, which was basically, can you make a silly joke and then save it to file? So kind of references, kind of just a little bit of an introduction, what Codex is, the CLI, and it's basically the tool that I used to use inside OpenClaw. And I'm kind of tired of OpenClaw at the moment and just kind of playing around with the Codex CLI directly from OpenAI. I kind of want to make my own agentic AI tasks. So basically, stealing everything that was cool out of OpenClaw, I want to just use my own cron task on my own server, just running on my test bench. As referenced in the last video, it's just a crappy old computer converted to Ubuntu Linux. There's no desktop environment, so it's just like these guys down here, these fake devices running Raspbian Linux on Raspberry Pis. They're just headless environments. No desktop environment, so I think it's kind of people just learning or starting out, kind of get used to playing around with Linux without a desktop environment through pure just SSH. So I'll be on my Windows computer in PowerShell. This is where I'm running the cursor IDE. Will be SSH into here. And then we'll be trying to create a cron task and then some model context. I downloaded a construction specification for building automation contracting, which is different probably than a software engineering specification. So construction specification is just to use a proprietary framework in building automation, and it has to meet these criteria for hardware, dampers, valves, sensor calibration. The UI needs to be capable of X, Y, and Z. So I'm just kind of curious to let Codex CLI run just over the weekend and just see what it makes with just some very generic make me a building automation system. And like what I'm really curious to do too is some of the other YouTubers, they're making dashboards or whatever they're using OpenClaw for, is like they're tasking the AI at maintaining its own code base. So create and maintain your own code base. It's quite common for these guys to say, I'm glad I don't have to maintain that HTML, whatever OpenClaw did. So the previous 5 code apps I've been doing has been very human in the loop of use this framework, this, everything very specific. And I want this to be more generic with the intention that, AI will just maintain itself. So it's very experimental. Who knows if this will even work, but it's kind of fun. It's a weekend hobby project. So I just started out by Googling construction specifications for building automation systems. So this is very common. Every state, I think this is almost kind of global too, they have construction specifications for operations technology and HVAC and buildings. HVAC and building automation is one part of a specification when building a building. So very common. They're even posted all over the place. I'm just stealing this one from Amazon Web Services, Division 25. I think Division 23 is the generic HVAC. There's usually divisions 1 through 100, and 23 is always HVAC. 25 is DDC in building automation, something like that. So it's very common. They're everywhere, but they're just for building contractors to build things, which could be way different than software engineering spec. But I'm kind of morphing this into software engineering spec. This is what the Amazon Web Service specification looks like. Yeah, even tells what the control technician is supposed to do. startup and acceptance criteria. Some of them even list it needs to be a particular vendor. Like this is Siemens Apogee, Honeywell, EcoStructure by Schneider Electric. So it's saying BACnet. Yeah, so basically it provides like the DDC system must meet this criteria, which definitely falls in line with like what we have been talking about on this channel. I was just going off of experience in building automation contracting. So logins, web browser navigation, the thin client web browser GUI shall provide a comprehensive interface. So this is exactly the same thing we've been doing, building graphics. This is the most thing that we've been schedules. So the ability to create shall use be able to create, modify, edit, view schedules based on system geographical hierarchy, navigation tree. So same thing we've been talking about. So what I ended up doing was downloading this, then using this PDF to Markdown tool. I basically got it into a text file, and then I dumped that into ChatGPT, and then told it to turn this into a construction spec, into a software engineering spec. And it threw in a bunch of like specific Python, Fast API, Django framework. I think ChatGPT has some memory features, like it knows we've been working on this a lot. So it added that in there, but I just kind of want the AI to make whatever it wants to make. And I kind of deleted this just to Python only. And this is kind of nice, I guess, React. I want it to kind of make what it wants to make. So it's got to do all this. Kind of all of the same things that we've been talking about. And so I'm just going to bring up, okay, so we talked about this, and I'm going to load, bring up cursor here, and then cursor is viewing the files in this host directory here. So so this is like the AI chat right here. This is the Linux environment right here. These are all the files, and then I just have them in here. The last video we were kind of playing around with this, our joke, where that worked. Okay, so I just have this folder called BAS build. Then this one is the spec, where I just have Python and React and TypeScript. I am debating if this should be set up in Docker or not, but maybe we can figure that out later. I just want to see what it'll make. Gosh, now I'm like really curious. Okay, so like this is the spec markdown file, which is the prompt. Think. Okay, so another file I did create was one called BACnet scripts. So in here, this is basically, I went and took so on this YouTube channel, we've been doing scripts to do a BACnet read, write, release, read multiple, priority array, BACnet server schedule object, BACnet server example, and then a points discover. So I literally just copied the the scripts from this YouTube channel on previous 5 code checkpoints, and kind of just plopped them right into this markdown file. So this will just be more model context that it can look at making these scripts. The only thing that's kind of lame is that these are the same exact BACnet devices that needs to so like we don't want it to be hard coded for like these two devices only. We need like this to be deployable in any BACnet environment. So it needs to do a proper BACnet discovery process, learn in all of the BACnet points like we've done before a million times, and then start pulling the critical points in the HVAC system. So I'm going to actually ask Cursor now to okay, so actually I didn't complete this prompt yet. So let's finish it. Can you eval the specification? I want it to be super generic, only specify a Python backend and some time series database only. And I like Caddy for self-signed search. Caddy is a really cool tool, which we talked about briefly, for the reverse proxy and anything nice. Ultimately, I want to make the spec MD super generic, where AI should decide how to build the BAS. Okay, and we need to say, and it needs to say that the, and it needs to say in the spec that it cannot be hard-coded specifically for some, gosh, or should we have to do this? Like the funny thing is, it's like what we're experimenting is, if you deploy AI, it just builds the building automation system. So maybe it could be specific for that building, and then you just deploy it at the next building, and it builds it specific to that building. Wow. So it's like only the human needs a tool that's generic for any building, but if AI is only in that building, yeah, what could we do here? Super important. Maybe we shouldn't say that. It can reference the BACnet scripts for BACnet driver purposes, and also how to pass arguments for the NIC card for the NIC card, which is required for backpipes 3. I might just give this. So if I do an IP A, let's say IP A in Linux. So okay, so this is the NIC card right here. I'm just gonna give it this. Maybe this could go into the spec as well. Okay, I just want to see what it'll do right here. Okay, so alright, so I think I added all this. It's evaluating, it's strong, detailed. I think it's still modifying it. Reads super clear. Generic spec. You do not need a list of every script location as long as. Alright, if you want the exact spec even shorter for model context, follow up would be to move along the acceptance line. Okay, yes, so we should make an acceptance criteria. So I'm going to say, please make a acceptance criteria doc, and we should also have a checkpoint status doc, or combine them if best fit. Okay, so what I want to do is have it so I'm just going to go nuts with this. Okay, so please, I'm going to say maybe we should just set this up now. So we proved that Codex CLI works with the text file and a joke. And the next thing I want it to do is just build the BAS little by little over time. What we need is cron services set up where every 15 minutes, I'm just going to say, or perhaps shorter, can you look up how often I can use Codex CLI commands with the mini model? Like, let's say, for example, we would set cron services so that it maintains the 5-hour codex window and the weekly usage limit, so the cron service wakes up in safe limits per hour, with further limits that we can make 15 API calls per wake up with the mini model selected, and then one final let's say GPT, select GPT 5.5 selection as a so this will be as a model critic, for what the mini model made, and the GPT 5.5 fills in the application build checkpoints, and directs what the shall perform on this wake up call. Okay, so it's like the GPT 5.5 will be the last call for critic. I probably mentioned this already like 5 times, and then directions for when wake up, mini model will read and perform. Okay, so what I'm going to ask Cursor IDE is how to programmatically set up cron to maintain the Codex API limits and how many mini model API calls can I do on each wake up. Can you look this up and set it up? I'm going to say, please provide notes in a new README as well for the cron services to be deployed. Okay, let's just see what it does. Oh, okay, so what do we have here? So it's searching the OpenAI Codex API, so it's researching itself right now. It's doing web requests. So like I have been, okay, so we're setting this all up here. So this is my Codex usage. And I have to really be careful on my cursor usage. So I still got a ways to go. I've got 19 days to go till that fills up. Let's try, I think we can just maximize our usage with maximize our codex here. Okay, so I think it's going to make a new README, creating acceptance criteria MD, separate checkpoints MD. We should add something in here too, that if it can build something that, and when it's done and it's met all of its acceptance, it just turns its own cron service off. That's something that OpenClaw can do too. All right, so what do we do here? So we have, it's making some files for us, an env example. So it's making a env file, cron example. So this is how you set a cron service in Linux. So every 15 minutes, it'll do this, it looks like a wake bash file it made. State. So it's like making all these context files, logs. Ooh, BAS wake. So this is it. So it made itself a bash script. So a bash is like kind of like PowerShell, but it's specific for Linux. It's kind of like a really friendly automation language that is ran with the operating system directly. Cool. All right, so what it's going to do, so like your math pattern, so it just used that. So I just threw that shooting from the hip as 15 mini calls plus 1 critic per wake. All right, so it didn't really look up. We might just be guessing and checking here. All right, so maybe we'll just kind of play around with this. There was one person I did notice on, this is the YouTube channel here. So this is the I did notice that this person on Discord made kind of like a cool BAS hotel, or BAS hotel, BAS UI. And I did think I kind of like the way like the styles look in this. Like I really like the way the look and feel of this front end this person made. So I might even ask it to do like the same look and feel and styling. So I actually have this HTML file too. Okay, I'm just debating whether that would be a good thing to stick in there too. So let's okay, so if we want true 15 API calls HTTP metering, if you want to, I don't understand this. So like, not actually. Codex exe from Chrome needs your login quota. So if you want the true 15, that would require Codex SDK, telemetry, or wrapping. I'm just gonna say, what can we make kind of in the same style as this? What can we make in the same style of this, but with our own custom Chrome? Okay, so I have these this is the HTML file that I got from the one thing I just showed you from LinkedIn. So this is like all CSS right here. It's kind of curious like how long this is. Big HTML file. Gosh, now I'm debating if we should do this in this style or not. Alright, why not? Okay, so maybe I'll just add a new folder. I'm going to say front end example. So I'm just going to copy and paste this. Let's say graphic HTML. So I'm just going to copy this from my Windows computer to the into here, just through the text editors. So I need to have cursor put this in. Can you also tell it to be inspired by this styling? I like the way this looked, just the colors and theme. Alright, so I'm just gonna say, how do we fire this thing up? Let it build. I mean, if this actually works, maybe I'll just put this in as one of the vibe code checkpoints. This would be so cool. Like if the future of building automation system is like AI just sits and builds itself on site, and then once it's done, building the building automation system and the humans sign off on it, then the AI can stay on site and then go into a mode of even finding broken dampers, broken sensors, you name it. Okay, so like, I'm just gonna say, can there be a feature for when the acceptance criteria is met that it can delete its own cron task and be done? Basically go silent. Okay, what also we need in this too is like on each step the web app should be live, and we are building it live on each wake up call and restarting as necessary if making more features or fixing bugs requires a restart of the web app, and that the human can dial into it on a 0.0.0 anytime. So that means I can dial into it remotely anytime hosted for remote dial-in right away. Okay. So this is cool. It's like it's building its own context here. One thing I was just like running across, I was just browsing at this morning, was just like Phaser. This is like a JavaScript library for making games. So a JavaScript library for making games. Just barely showed it, and then this is just something purely skills for model context. So it's just like, this is crazy. There's just so much in here for AI skills. So it seems like everything is going this direction for like an AI agent can build a game in Phaser, this Phaser JavaScript library, and it just knows like just what to do. All this, it's all in Markdown form for every little bit and piece that it needs to do. Gosh, I'm almost curious if we should be just ask it. Should we be inspired by Phaser JS library for making games? And notice they have a huge skills library for AI agents. Shout out to Phaser developers. Can we do something here, or should we, with our context so far? It would be neat if the GPT 5.5 can add more check out the phaser JF skills for inspiration. Oh boy, okay, so the next step is just going to be firing this up. So this is pretty cool. Hopefully, this would be really neat if the future of building automation would be something like this, because like so far there's been next to zero AI adoption in the buildings industry, with exception of IoT companies. So like smart building IoT companies are more related to software engineering, and they're so those people are definitely using AI, and they should be. But there's nothing. To my knowledge, there isn't even hardly a dent in operations technology with adoption of AI by any of the BAS manufacturers themselves. If there is, I just haven't heard about it. There might be some like private developers. Some frameworks have a developer program where you can code your own widget or something inside the framework. So people might be playing with it a little bit. But so I'm just say yes. Can GPT 5.0 add more skills as needed? Okay, I'm just gonna say yes. Okay, go nuts with adding that with guide rails, and let's fire this baby up. Oh boy, okay, so this is exciting. So we have acceptance criteria, graphics, I'm just looking at some of this. Security. Wow, this is huge. I'm just really curious to see what it'll make. So I think like what I'm also going to task it is, yeah, who knows? I think like I have a feeling it might make something really wonky, but it's kind of funny. So I'm just gonna say that this should be modified into whatever HVAC requirements that are captured through BACnet for the building type. Like VAVHU could be one HVAC type, but other buildings could be VRF, dedicated outside air units, or heat pump, dedicated outside air unit type, etc., or data center, or lab, or hospital, etc. Wow, this is getting to be pretty crazy. Gosh, when I vibe coded that with ChatGPT in agent mode, just in the Django framework, like updating the Django primitive Django app to maybe we could just delete all of that, and I'm just dying to see. Maybe this is better. I don't know. Oh boy, I wonder if this is running already. Gosh, is it running? Okay, so maybe it did. It's running it already even. Okay, so this is fun. I do really think that Cursor is really cool. I love Cursor as a tool. Okay, so what do we got here? Maybe it's running. The only thing I don't know is like if I close out of this SSH session, will it keep running? So I'll just have to keep chatting with Cursor that it can set itself up on a systemd process or something. But I might pause this for now, guys, and I'll keep on creating more videos over the weekend just to see if this works at all. So there could be a possibility that it's a total flop, but it's a weekend, so it's supposed to be kind of fun. So hopefully you're enjoying this. I sure am. So we'll catch you guys on the next one. Talk to you later.